Hey, 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 I'm on here for another thought of the day. So, you guys know that these are really quick. Um, it's Friday and I'm just sitting here having a thought um, about, the plans and processes of God. And I just wanted to share with you guys, what God was ministering to me, regarding the plans. And I think sometimes we could get so excited about the plans of God that we forget that there is a crushing. There's a crushing that has to take place. There is something that has to be taken away, molded, right, within us, within our minds, our thought processes, our beliefs, you know, um, it has to be dealt with. And I believe we forget that, you know, um, we'll finally maybe get a revelation of what God has called us to do. And then all of a sudden it just doesn't get comfortable anymore. Like your situation doesn't get comfortable, you don't get comfortable, right? Like, God, I'm doing the things you want me to do, but why does it seem as if it's getting harder? It's getting harder to do what you want me to do, right? It's getting harder to press through. It's getting harder to just do it, right? Like, God, why can't I do it, right? And I've had plenty of those moments, and I'm pretty sure it's not the last. But the thing about God's plan is, um, it makes you to look and act and speak more like Him, right? So if you're going through the thoughts, like I just, kind of explained to you guys, that God, I don't understand. Why is this getting harder? Why can't I focus? Why can't I do what I'm supposed to do? It's probably because you're going through a filtering. You're going through a molding process. You're going through a pressing, right? Because God, what God has for us and what He wants us to do is not just for us. And we should know that it is for other people. But I believe more importantly, it's more so also to make us more like Him, right? To make us more like Him, to know what it means to know His plans, to know His intentions, to know how He originally wants us to be. And with us being in this, flesh that is so carnal, right? We want things that please us, and the things that please us isn't necessarily it doesn't glorify God, because it's all about ourselves. It's all about how we feel. It's all about, what it will do for us. It's very selfish. So when we have our plans and then we collide with God's plans, you will find that our plans, your plans, right, is pretty carnal. If you think about the motive, you think about the why, you think about, well, God, why is this clashing with what I want to do? And you just have to be mature enough to kind of take a step back and evaluate your desires. You have to make sure that you're not being led by your desires, and that's pretty much a hard thing to do. And that's why it's always good to consult with God along the way, even though if He has given you a glimpse, right, a glimpse, a view, um of what He has for you, or what mission He wants you to do. I mean, it could be anything, project, assignment. You have to kind of evaluate that and make sure that, check in. Like I call them check-ins. You do check-ins with God, and I do this frequently, and some people may think that I'm being overly, like it don't take all that. You ain't got to do all that. Yes, you do, because the flesh is deceitful. Your heart is deceitful. Who will know it? Right. And then, I mean, it could be a good thing. But as I say, and I've said it on here, on this podcast, that every good thing doesn't mean that it's a God thing, right? Because it doesn't line up with the plans of God, and it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be very positive, but is it in the blueprint of God? Is it in alignment of what God had already planned for you since the foundation of the earth? And we have to not get so personal with like, well, God, what's wrong with me doing this? Why can't I just do this? It's simple enough, because it's not his plan. Just because it's good doesn't mean it has to be part of the plan. And like I said, you have to look at it as in, why do I want to do this so bad? What is my push? Do I feel some kind of self gratification for doing this? Does it make me feel good? Build my self esteem in a way, or why? Like, why do I want to do this so bad that I'm willing to not listen clearly the steps that God has laid out for me? And I just wanted to get on here and tell you guys that real quick, that whatever God has put in your lap, in your hands, in your mind, in your dreams, in your vision, is going to require a crushing, right? It's going to require a crushing, because you might have had your plans, you might have had your path that you want to go down, and here you collide with God's plans. Once you said, God, I want to live for you, I want to follow you, I want to please you. And here he has these plans that, okay, God, this don't look like what I originally planned for myself, but I'll give it a try. And once you start stepping in that direction, you will find, whew, Lord, I got some changes to make. My thoughts, my mind is just not grasping this. And that's the important part of, like I said, I believe, to get even deeper, that's the plan of God. It's going to shape you and mold you to be more like him, right? To be that instrument on the earth that he wants you to be. So don't get discouraged when, at one point, I'm sorry, I was drinking coffee at the same time too. Um, don't get discouraged when you might have thought you grasped, the idea of what God was telling you, and the deeper that you went, it's like, God, I thought I had it. I thought I had a clear vision of what you wanted me to do. Don't get discouraged. See what work is doing on the inside of you. Don't fight it with your plans. Don't fight God, because we're not gonna win. We're not gonna win. You don't try to fight God's plans with yours, right? Don't try to switch it and change it. And, well, God, this is what I've been believing in since I was a little girl. This is what I've been believing in since I was in college, and this is what I've been striving for. And if you go a little deeper, if you will find out that those actions and things that you've done, throughout the years, were not in vain. Your perspective was just off, right? It didn't look and paint a correct picture. The outcome didn't paint, it wasn't how you intended it to be. But it was a plan in that, right? It was a plan in that. And I'll take you guys through just the first examples of how I came to that thought. Um, and growing up, there were a lot of things that I, was pretty much interested in. I feel that God had put that in me to like, right? For a reason, right? You know, I love to write. I loved the arts. I loved all kinds of music. It could be from jazz to classical. I loved animals. At one point, I wanted to be a vet. Um, I even loved, just the thing about just being a lawyer, and being a labor and delivery nurse. And in college, I kind of went into um, radio and TV, broadcasting, And at first, didn't see too much of a future in it, because I'm like, look, I just want to write. I just want to write. I don't want to be in the entertainment industry. I just want to write. I want to be behind the scenes. And I saw how competitive, right, that environment is. And if anybody knows me, I pretty much like to be left alone. Right? I don't need all of that. I'm not a competitive person. I just want to, do what makes me happy. So then after that, I worked in doctor's offices, and so coming out, it looked like everything was jumbled up. Nothing was coming together. And I'm just like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? So I went through a season of processing. Some of you guys know my testimony. Went through a season of processing after a divorce, came in collision with a real just um, encounter with God, and really just kind of facing, really identifying my purpose. And now that I'm sitting here in hindsight, all of those things work together for my good. All of those things trained me for this moment. It trained me for this. Everything intertwined. Like I said about the lawyer, right? They're good. They know the law. They can argue a point. They can, kind of just convince you of something, right? So I stand here, I'm a minister, right? So I, defend the word of God, defend faith, right? I sit here and I can look and I can give you examples to tell you, what I can minister to you, right? Through the book, through the Bible. So that's the lawyer aspect. And with the writing, that was always deeply in me. So that's what I'm doing in the radio and TV and broadcasting. You see that I'm on here with you guys right now. And and it came to a time where now I know what to do, right? I didn't know how it fit, but I know what to do. And I don't believe it stops even here with this podcast. So everything works together. So you have to be careful. I went through all of that to say this. You have to be careful taking that one view, that one peak that God gives you, and running with it, planning a whole career around that peak, when God has not revealed to you the whole plan and the whole vision. Like, he hasn't revealed to you as much because you know you weren't ready to accept that. Your mind wasn't ready to think and grasp that yet. It wasn't in a place in God where you can use it for his glory, right? So we have to be careful when God gives us a glimpse and planning a whole future behind it. Just take these crumb pieces. I always pray, and I suggest you guys pray every day, that God just get I just give me my daily bread, right? Allow me to see and to discern my daily bread for the day. I don't want more than what you give me. I don't want to seek more than what you give me, that I'm allowed to have for the day. Because any provision, anything that God gives us a day, is enough. Sometimes we get overwhelmed because we seek more than our provision. We seek more than the bread that God gives us a day. We try to eat the whole loaf. And one thing about bread, you trying to eat the whole loaf, you are in danger of choking, right? So God knows best. Father knows best. I always say, take your daily bread, do what you're supposed to do with that daily bread. It's giving you your nutrients, it's giving you your strength, it's giving you that you need to do, that God has told you to do, right? So I just want you to guys to just, you guys know this is usually under 20 minutes, the thoughts of the day. But it was just really heavy on my heart to kind of tell you guys, hey, you got to know that in the pursuit of purpose is going to crush you. It's going to humble you, right? Humility is part of it. If you're in God's purpose, chasing after God's purpose, and it hasn't humbled you, that might not be exactly how he wants you. It may not be the purpose that he's designed. It may be your plans, it may be your desires, it may be what you've seen somebody else do on social media. It might be, something that you deeply desire, right? Like I said, check those desires. And it may not be the plan of God, because the plans of God will humble you. The plans of God will crush you. And that is not to hurt us. It's to mold us so that we can look, act, and think more like him. All right. So I thank you guys for tuning in, for watching this thought of the day. Um, I'm just grateful for these Jesus nuggets. You guys know I call them Jesus nuggets. That I pray that it helps you and it enhances your day. It makes you think and go, towards God's plans, and helps you to listen, right? Help you to listen to him more, because in the whole grand scheme of things, he just wants us to be close. You can do whatever, but the whole grand scheme of things is he just wants to hold us close, because he wants us to be with him and talk with him and walk with him, and as it was supposed to be intended in the beginning, right? In Genesis, he just wants us to be close. He just wants us to be as he has created us to be, right? So that's all I have. So if you can share it, comment. um for my podcast listeners, thank you so much. And just to let my podcast listeners know, you guys know, or maybe not, because I think I did a live and I told you guys, I do have a private mentorship and coaching group. And so if you want to join that, if you are on Facebook, you could look it up. It's the Psalms of My Emotions Coaching and Mentoring. Go ahead and search it, and just just put the join button, right? Click the join button and be a part of that group. I'm trying to figure out how to, maybe even, because I know a lot of people don't do Facebook, but some people may even want to do, something with YouTube, and I'm trying to set up something with my podcast platform, as far as the how can I get just my listeners, those that don't use social media, how can you get the extra bits and the extra nuggets and the extra things that I'm offering in this private mentorship and coaching group, right? Because we're going to have prayer. We're going to, just do workshops and activities. And a lot of it, if you're in this area, I live in Indiana, um, we're going to meet. We're going to meet. We're going to, have workshops. We're going to, have fellowship. We're going to do all of that. But you have to be part of this private group in order to know the announcements, get these other special videos, right? Special, just anything that I felt that is very private and close to me, will be just only done in that group. It won't be broadcasted. It won't be anywhere else but that private group. So go ahead and join the Psalms of My Emotions um mentoring group. I also have it, you guys, my podcast listeners, there I have a link tree link in the description box. So you can easily click there, and it should be a thing where you could just click it and it will take you directly to the Facebook group. So thank you guys. I will see you later. Talk to you later. I can't see all of you. So I will talk to you later. And I think I'm gonna have an emotion Monday. Okay, I'm gonna get off of here. So just think about it, you guys. Think about your desires, check your desires, and see where they are leading you. Are they humbling you, or are they putting you in a place where God doesn't want you to be? All right. So check you later. Bye bye.